Space Shuttle, this is flight safety. Keep your hands on the handrail or inside the vehicle and remain seated while in motion. You are clear for launch. Have a great flight to Starport 75.
Hey, Glenn.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Pretty good. Or I guess maybe I should say ahoy, Glenn.
Ahoy, Chris.
I don't get to say that too often, especially for you.
No, usually I'm saying it to you.
Usually, like I'm doing that every few months.
What is your count up to?
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, what?
Because you're almost what, platinum or something? Diamond? What is it?
I'm one away from platinum.
Okay, because I didn't see
my next cruise. I turned platinum.
I didn't see any platinum lanyards. I only saw silver and gold.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had silver for the record. At least we had something.
Here's the thing I don't know, and it might have changed my plans. We're already jumping in the conversation. You can edit it the intro later. But if I had known, like I don't know, do you get to wear your platinum lanyard on your 9th trip, or is it after your 9th trip?
Oh, I don't know.
Because if it was on the 9th, then that would have been fun to do. But I think the technical verbiage is after your 9th cruise, you're platinum.
Okay.
Isn't that so stupid? It's the same. For anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, so Disney Cruise, which I think we're going to talk about, Glenn. Is that on the rundown today?
I think that's going to be the main subject of today's conversation.
So Disney Cruise, when you go on a certain number of cruises, you go up in the tiers of, what do they call it? Loyalty, I guess?
Yeah.
And so you start off at, I don't know, like mud?
Yeah, nothing. So if you haven't ever taken a cruise, you're garbage.
What color are the lanyards? Silver, right?
Silver.
You start off at silver.
So as soon as you take your first cruise, you become a silver Castaway Club member.
Woo-hoo. And then you get to, after I think 5, you get to gold.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 9 or 10, whatever that cutoff, either after your 9th or on your 9th, whatever, you hit platinum. And it's so dumb because there's no, it's all psychological. Like it's the color of the land. Like everybody has their lanyards that are colored. So you go, oh, those are platinum people.
Right.
But like you get, like there's almost no benefit to it. Like there's some captain's gala thing you get to go to if you want to. We went one time and never again. But still, I'm this far in, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. What are we talking about today? Is there a rundown? What are we chatting about?
Yeah. So the rundown is that the Disney Cruise Line sailed out of the port of New Orleans, and me and my family took a cruise right after Mardi Gras. So just a couple weeks ago,
the Disney Cruise Line
sailed
out of New Orleans. This was unprecedented. Crazy,
right? Yes. It was the first time ever, the Disney Wonder.
Mm-hmm.
And they it sold out, and so they are coming back again next year.
Uh-huh.
So I don't have anything planned for next year.
What does that mean? You didn't book on the
No.
Really? They throw it at you. They're like,
no,
you get shipboard credit and all that?
Yeah, great.
You didn't do that?
No, did not do that.
Okay. Well, you're better off. I think they actually still owe me money. I think I booked last time and I never used. But anyway, so I was going to go with you.
Yes,
remember,
you were.
But just life circumstances got in the way, and unfortunately I had to bail on this. Oh, don't start. Don't even start.
No. Actually, your cabin, you booked the cabin directly
right
across from us on the other side of the ship.
I did.
That would have been cool.
How was it? Did you meet the people that stayed there?
No, I didn't. Honestly, I didn't even think about it until like today.
Did you hang out with them? Like, hey, my buddy was going to stay here. And it'd be like, and?
Right. Could I come in and see?
Like, let me see where he would have been. It wasn't directly across the hall though. It was like on the other side of the ship, right? Because that would have been a little too close. But
oh my god, all right. Yeah, I wouldn't know.
So, so you went on the Disney cruise.
Yes.
So it sailed out of New Orleans, which it never does. Which I know New Orleans is like under the ocean, but it's still crazy they can get the ships that close. Like it was right at your front door, right?
I mean, it's not that far. It's I think 7 miles away.
Wow. Okay. And I thought it was close for me, where it's like a hour drive, but that's great. So there's like a cruise ship terminal there.
Oh yeah. There's two there. Well, yeah. There's there's 2 terminals. And they usually have 2 ships docked there pretty much daily.
Who normally is it, like Royal Caribbean ship?
Yeah, it's Royal Caribbean. What's the Carnival?
Oh, nice.
What's the other one?
I don't know. Princess?
No. Norwegian.
Norwegian. Yeah, that's one of them.
Norwegian. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a few of them that.
And that's technically the Mississippi, right? That they're.
Oh yeah.
See, I can't even imagine like these ships. They're so large. Like, I can't even imagine they go on a river. Like they're like ocean liners. These things.
I know. But the Mississippi River is a lot wider than you think. Because I mean, that was really the first time I had sailed down the Mississippi River. You know, we did it. Tammy's prom was on the steamboat Natchez, and so they take you down. You know, it's like a 2-hour cruise or something, and okay, that's fine. But this is the first time that I was on any kind of sizable ship to go down the Mississippi. So I was like, how are we going to do this? But it's a lot. Once you're on there and you start going, it's like, oh wow, we have plenty of room.
Really? Well, not just room like left to right or port to starboard.
Yeah,
whatever,
but it's not.
Like
it is
depth,
very windy, but it's plenty big enough for the ships.
And obviously, it's deep enough for.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're the only one I'm familiar with is two, but for Disney is Canaveral, and that's got like such a professional channel that they constructed for these ships to it's just like a serious thing. This is like they're like just go up the river a little bit, just go to the side.
Well, the other thing is you don't realize how long it takes to get out of the Mississippi River and into the Gulf.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I was following your boat on one of these cruise ship tracker thingies. And there's a lot of winding it has to do to get from the river to the ocean. There's like a half a day just to make it to the actual Gulf. Yeah,
it takes. Well, I know because I was trying to find out the time from when we entered the Mississippi to when we were going to dock coming back, because I wanted to, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, but I wanted to watch us, dock back in New Orleans and take some pictures. And we entered the Mississippi around 8 p.m., 8 or 9 p.m. the night before, and we didn't dock until 6 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so bizarre. Well, okay. I mean, it makes sense, but
yeah.
Huh. Yeah, because again, on the Florida side, it like doesn't enter that channel to dock like until it only takes like half an hour from the ocean to the dock. That's 8 p.m. I thought you were going to say 8 a.m., but 8 p.m.
No.
All right. So you're going on this, and we'll just do background, and then I'll let you go tell your story. Right. So you're doing this trip. How many nights was it? Because that's how they do this thing, right? It's how many nights you're on board. So how many nights was this? Like 14, 90? How many was it?
Man, I wish. No, it was a 4-night cruise.
4 night. Okay, which is nice. Three is almost like why bother? Because
exactly,
like walk on the ship, turn around, and you get off.
Pretty much.
I've done 4.
Yeah.
Most of the ones I've done are 7.
Yeah.
I think ideal is like 5.
I agree. One more day would have been really nice.
Yeah.
7. We have never done a 7-night cruise, and we could certainly do it. I just don't know if that would be too long.
Well, let me tell you, it's the same arc every single time.
Is it?
It's the same arc every time. So you get on, and like the first couple of days, you're like, wow, this is fun. You're like, oh my gosh, it's going fast. And then you get like to the halfway point. And you're like, wow, we're only halfway there? You're like, wow. And then you're like, really? Like, I think I'd be ready to be home, right? But then something happens, like the magic really settles in or something, alcohol, I don't know, whatever it is that happens. Melissa doesn't drink. It happens to her too. But like as soon as you get past that halfway mark, then it's like, oh no. Now, only 2 more days and then we're going to be home. And then by the time you're home, you're like, well, that wasn't long enough.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't like the 4-day, you never hit that point where you're like, wow, we still have a long way to go. Right.
No,
Right. But the 7 you do, like in the middle, you're kind of like, I don't know. Did we make a mistake being here this long? But then it always turns around. Same arc every time. So 7's still great. It's a whole different kind of trip, I think, because, you have more time to kind of settle in, but
yeah,
they're great. They're just different vibes. Okay, so you went on this thing. It was
yes,
you and the rest of New Orleans.
Pretty much. pretty
Okay.
much. Yeah.
Because it was Mardi Gras week, right?
It was Mardi Gras week. So it was Thursday, 2 days after Mardi Gras.
Okay.
And as I've said a million times on the podcast, but for our new listeners,
Nobody listens anyway, so go ahead.
the kids are out of school for that week. And so it was ideal because we didn't have to take them out of school. Neither did anybody else on the cruise. so that's why it was overrun by a lot of New Orleans residents.
It's almost like Disney knew that, and they planned it that way.
It's crazy, right?
All right. So it was, but in your immediate party, it was you
Yes.
and your family.
Uh-huh.
So who was with you? I know your family, but others don't.
Yeah. My wife, Tammy, my
Okay.
daughter, Megan, and my son, Glenn Paul.
Okay. And so you had kids. Like my wife and I used to go on these Disney cruises without kids, and people thought we were insane. But you had kids.
Yes.
And their ages, roughly? Do you share that
14
info?
and 11.
Okay. Those are still good Disney cruise ages, I think, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I've never, my kids are still younger, so I only know the younger side of that, or no kids. But all right. So I think we have the setup. So New Orleans never happened before.
No.
Also interesting with the ship because there are some New Orleans flavors to the ship, right?
There are, and it's almost like they anticipated that when they went into dry dock last year.
So strange. It's almost like there's the whole plan.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then walk me through it. Like the highs, if there were any lows other than having to get off, whatever.
Right.
Talk us through it. How did it go?
All right. So we got to the port. So when you are before your cruise, you go online and you pre-register, right? Pre-check-in. And so you select a time when you want to board the ship, and you put your credit card in and sign up. If you have kids under 11 or under 12, you can sign them up for the clubs on board. So you don't have to do all that when you get there. So I went through and did that, and I picked the earliest possible boarding time, which was noon. Noon to 12:30. Yeah. So we got there at noon. Actually like 11:50. Because I wanted to spend every possible second on the ship that we could. So we got there.
They don't just give these things away, so you gotta maximize the time.
Right. So Tammy's dad actually dropped us off at the port. They took our luggage, and we went in to the port, and they were very efficient. They had a ton of cast members there, and they were directing everybody, so you knew where to go. It's pretty generic, but they put up a bunch of signs, Disney signs. They had Mickey there taking pictures. So they had a lot of. They try to make it as Disney-fied as they could.
Am I allowed to ask questions as we go?
Yeah, that's why I'm pausing.
Okay, so so it is interesting to see this, what is essentially a multi-purpose cruise terminal, because in Florida it's all custom built for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
a little bit different. But where's the Mickey pictures? I'm looking at your pictures. I don't see any from the terminal. Where's he at?
Yeah, we didn't, because I was trying to get on the ship. So we saw him. I waved at him. Hey, Mickey, how
you shoved him aside, like, whatever, man.
Yeah,
I gotta
get out the way. Cabanas is waiting for me, man.
Yes,
delicious
Cabanas.
buffet.
All right. So what is Cabana? All right. So you
all right, hold on.
Well,
so
actually, okay. So you had to get there at noon. So somebody dropped you off. So you didn't have to pay to park. That's good, because I've paid to park. It's like a ton of money for just letting your car sit there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good. So somebody dropped you off, and nothing special about the check-in thing. You just give them your bags and off you go, and pretty standard.
Well, so they took our bags as soon as we got there. They took them out of the car. They have
right.
Yeah. So the bags went away, and then they directed us upstairs. Went through security. I'm used to TSA at the airports, right? So my mind is there. I'm taking my belt, and they're like,
so
"Come on through. What do you do?" You go through a metal detector, and you go through. You put your bag through the thing. I highly doubt that they even looked at it. I think she was sipping a cup of coffee while
really
the security was not the same.
That's not the vibe at the Florida one.
Yeah,
it is much more air. Well, yeah, I didn't. You said it, not me. But But no, it's much more airportish than the way you're describing it.
Yeah,
in
not
Florida.
air.
Interesting. Okay.
It was way more lax. So
Wow. Okay.
So anyway, so once you get past security, then you go in and they have the check-in counter, and they have like 20, stations
Agents,
set up.
desks.
Yeah, and so they have 3 lines. One for your first time, another for Castaway Club members, and then a third one for VIP or whatever.
That's the one I go to.
The concierge.
So, yeah, that's what I do. So actually I have a friend, I'm joking, but I have a friend that does concierge. Like that's he goes on Disney Cruise all the time and always does concierge. And it's like double the price.
Well, I didn't even, to the point that I didn't even realize that they have a concierge lounge. It's on no maps or anything.
No, it's like secret society. Yeah.
Oh, it completely is. And the only reason I saw it was like the last night, Tammy and I went in the Kauai Cove pool, and I'm looking up and I'm like, what is that? And you can see in, and it's like, that must be the concierge lounge, and they have like their own logo and keys and stuff. I'm like, oh wow, I don't know
how it is existed. I haven't been on the Wonder since 2005ish or so, but at least on the newer ships, the like concierge area is like completely different paneling and stuff in that area. It's like different carpet. It's like a whole different ship. So anyway, I have a friend that. That's how he rolls. But anyway, I don't. Sure. So now you and Tammy, this was not your first cruise. You guys are actually repeat
so we got
cruisers. So
that's right. We got to go on the special line.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it was a little bit quicker, and since I had pre-registered everything and pre-checked in, once we got up to the station, they gave us our lanyards. They only gave 2 though, which ticked me off. Yeah, they only gave us 2 of the Castaway Club silver lanyards.
Oh yeah, well yeah, because your kids aren't silver.
Well, that's ridiculous.
No, they're not. My kid's the same. And actually we have not since the last one, because we had a mix. Because like Melissa and I are gold. The older kid was silver, and then the youngest one he got screwed. So he had just whatever dirt or whatever they.
Oh my god, that's ridiculous.
Well, they haven't sailed. They don't.
I figured they would just the guy.
No,
he was
you got to earn it, man. What are you? God, you're like everybody gets a trophy guy. No, you got to earn it, man.
All right. Well, we gave ours to the kids, so they had them the whole trip anyway. So
wimps.
Okay, so
entitled snowflakes.
So it literally, I was only there for like 3 minutes at the state, and he gave us the things, and he was like, "Okay, here's your number, your boarding group, and if they've already called it, you can just walk on the ship." And they were up to like, our number was 9, and they were up to 15 already, so we literally just walked on the ship.
Well, it sounds like you messed up then. Why?
Well, we didn't have to wait. We didn't have to wait in the terminal. Oh, I don't know.
You do. Okay. Well, you messed up something.
So,
which is way better. Remember how they used to do it? It was like you just get everybody would just get there whenever they got there.
Yes.
And they would literally line up and sit down on the floor and camp out for hours.
Yeah. And that's
try and be the first on.
Right. And that's what was, giving me anxiety, because I do remember that.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, oh my God. That's why I'm like, oh, we got to go. We got to get there early and everything else. And, and no, they're like, oh, just come on
It's much better now. It's basically like FastPass.
It is.
Fast Pass for getting on the boat.
So
your boarding group.
Okay. So all right. So going, getting in, and I'm trying to give a little bit more of the New Orleans flavor that we went through, because knowing, having sailed out of Port Canaveral, I do, I got to see the differences. And so when you go to board in Cape Canaveral, Port Canaveral, you go through the Mickey porthole thing, right? And it's all themed. Yet no, this is literally just like a ramp with tiles and you go a couple times, and then you enter on deck 5. So like the second level above the lobby, right?
That's strange. Okay.
Yeah, so you're not going in, or is that 4? I guess that's 4 actually, because you normally
be 3.
Enter at 3, right?
Yeah.
So so we were up like 1 up. I'm like, oh, that stinks. But so we walk in, and then they, what's your family's name? And
actually, can I interrupt again?
Yeah.
I got to. All right. So before you get to that's a key moment. So but I'm just curious because I love logistical things like this. So I'm wondering if because remember Disney's terminal, the only place I've been out of is in Florida, right? So I wonder they got to build it to their spec. So it's like the right height to go in on deck 3, which is like the grand entrance to the atrium lobby or whatever they call it these days, right? But I wonder if most cruise ships, the entry point is usually higher. So a multi-purpose terminal like yours, I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can cut that out. It's very curious. So.
Yeah. Well, I think the part that actually connects with the ship is kind of like the jetway, right? Where they maneuver it to wherever. But you're right. I don't think it couldn't go down to the level below. It can just
interesting
a little bit. Anyway.
All right. So you get on. And
so we
Disney
get on.
does something really fun when you get on, right?
Yeah, they do. So they had 2 people, and they had microphones, and we went up, and the family in front of us went to one person, and then we went to the other, and they announce you as you board the ship.
That's always fun. I've been on Royal Caribbean. They didn't do anything like that. I don't know if any other cruise lines do, but it's a fun little touch, right?
Yeah, it is. It's nice. So,
hey, by the way, you shared photos, but I'm sure you did video of that and stuff. Where's all the video?
I did a little bit of video. I did. I haven't even gone through the video yet.
Okay, right. No, I'll stay tuned for that. All right, so everybody, welcome aboard. The Welch family, and everybody went, Starport 75. Yay.
Right.
Okay. Then what? Then you just go take a nap, right?
So then we got on the ship, and I'll go ahead and say it. So the first thing we did was we said, let's go to guest services and make sure that we have a table by ourselves for dinner.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
You're so unsociable.
So we did. So we went, and we found out we had to go to the Azure Lounge to
I don't even know what that
make dinner changes. So
okay.
So we went there, and we told them, and they're like, okay, come here. And so what table number? And we told them, and then they're like, okay, it's set. Well, we had already been, but we just, they already had us at our own table, so they didn't have to change anything.
That's great.
So that was cool.
Whatever.
Yeah,
I think I said it before. But as a family, now that we're a family, I don't mind sitting within a family. I used to hate it when it was just Melissa and I because there were so often they would stick us two to just fill out a table.
Yeah.
So we'd be with a family of 6 or something, and so having dinner at somebody else's house. But they would have put you with another family of 4.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. All right.
We had a good time.
All right. Good.
So then we went to get something to eat because it was by that time it was probably around 1:00 or so, and we were hungry, and we knew, they had buffet at Cabanas, and so we were because we were at Azure, we took the elevators right there. Well, that's forward, okay. So we went up to deck 9 to go to Cabanas, and guess what? Deck 9 forward is the spa. We get off the elevator, and guess what? They had somebody there with a clipboard and was like, would you like to take a tour of the spa while you're right here before you go eat? And we were like, well, okay. We didn't want to be rude. And so they took us on a full tour of the spa, and we got the sales pitch from every station for everything that they offer.
What is it about you? You're this always happens to you. Whatever. Okay.
So anyway,
you don't sound unhappy.
Through.
You don't sound unhappy about that.
We bought the rainforest room package thing.
It's amazing. The rainforest room is awesome.
Yeah, it's nice. It was nice. Right. So, but I don't know. They suckers. So anyway,
it's DVC all over again.
It really is. So then we made our way to Cabanas and had some lunch. And then you roll into so by that time after lunch our room was ready. So we went to the room, saw it. We had a room with a veranda. We were on deck 7, a room with a veranda. First time for us to have that. Very cool.
Wait, is that right?
Yes. Oh my God.
You had inside rooms before?
I had an inside stateroom the second cruise, and the first cruise we had in
porthole.
We had portholes, but little bitty ones because we were on deck 2 or
Ocean
deck 1,
view.
something like that.
That's underwater, man.
It almost was, yeah.
Wow.
So, so this one was very nice. It was way different than any other cruise we went on.
So are you pro veranda now? Like if you go on another, would it have to be a veranda room, or
I think
either way?
So I think so. It would definitely. I would definitely have to have a porthole. If not, but I would not do a inside stateroom. We did it the one time, and I know. I don't think they have it on the Wonder, but on the Fantasy and the Dream, they have the virtual portholes where they have the camera shooting out.
Right.
But even that, I wouldn't. No. I want to see out, and I want light coming in.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so we went to see the room, and then we just started before the safety drill. The kids' club areas were all open, right? So the open house, so we could go see what was in there. Mm-hmm. So we went, and because even parents can't even get in, you know, once they close it down. So I wanted to go and take pictures, and the kids wanted to see them. So we started in the Castaway Club, or what is it called? The Oceaneers Club, something like that.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's the Oceaneers Club and Oceaneers Lab. And
yes.
So we went in. So my son was old enough, or young enough, to go in there the whole trip, but my daughter was aged out. She couldn't, so this was going to be her only time to go in there as well.
Okay.
And she is a huge Marvel movie fan, and so she wanted to see it, and because they have a Marvel section in there. But if I'm being honest, it wasn't anything.
Yeah, I gotta say, so I saw your pictures, and so I've been on the Fantasy, which is Star Wars themed.
I know. My son thought it was going to be, they were going to have a Star Wars section, and he was very disappointed that they didn't.
Yeah, and I'm looking at your pictures, and I'm trying not to be like that guy, because I'm not that big of a Marvel guy.
Yeah.
But I kind of agree with the richness of maybe it's just the subject matter. It's easier to do, but the richness of the Star Wars one seems a bit more than what I see from your shots for the Marvel one. But,
yep, you are correct.
Well, what are you gonna do? That just means you guys got to do a 7-day on the Fantasy and
that's right.
do the Star Wars side.
That's right.
All right.
And just so people know too, the Wonder, the Magic and the Wonder are sister ships, and they were the first two, and so they're smaller than the Fantasy and the Dream, and they learned a lot from these two when they built the Fantasy and the Dream, and made the good things better.
But more importantly, we got 3 new ships coming, so hopefully they'll do even better, right?
That's right.
Assuming we avoid complete global economic collapse.
Well,
it just depends on what's going on.
Let's not forget about that, too.
All right. So you guys toured the kids' clubs, which is that's always fun. I don't know if it matters, but did they have any other open times on the cruise that we were there? Because on the 7-day, there are periods of time where they're like, okay, this window, they have like open playtime. People can go in.
Yeah, they did, which I didn't realize. But yeah, so we would get the Navigator, the paper one, and they would actually color code it when it was open house. Right. So I didn't know that, but yeah, throughout the cruise, there are certain time periods where they'll have events for the kids and the adults to do together there, and so I was like, oh, okay, well, we could have done that, but anyway, so
your son got to do the kids clubs.
Yes,
your daughter was forced, quote unquote, to do the more the teens. What did your son think of the kids club, other than maybe disappointed around the Marvel thing, but just because they have lots of activities and things like that. Is that his bag? Is that
no?
Did he enjoy it or
not really? I mean, he went with his cousin a couple times, but he didn't spend a lot of time in there. It was very it wasn't as much time as I thought he would spend there.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So then we went to the next club, which was for the tweens, which I didn't, way back when we did it, I don't think they had a tween club. I think it was just teens and then kids. But now they have a tween club called The Edge.
I think they always did.
And maybe they did. But I didn't have kids, and I couldn't care less.
kids,
but now it's It's
Now
way
you
more
pay
important.
attention to these things, right? Okay, so what ages are the tween?
So it's 11 through 14. So it fits
rough
exactly. So my daughter was at the top end, and then my son was in the low end, but they could both
Right.
go in.
Okay, well that's cool.
Yeah. So we toured that, and it's not a big place. It's a little place. But they have video games. They have a ton of events that they do.
Yeah, right.
And then, so then we left there, and then we went to the Vibe, which is the one. It used to be the ESPN Sky Zone or whatever in the funnel. They replaced it with this, the Vibe, and this is the teen club, and it's for ages 14 through 18.
Oh, that's where all the trouble happens.
Yeah, no kidding. So I really thought my daughter would spend most of her time there, because that was the big kids club, if you will. And then I thought my son would be in the Oceaneers club.
Right.
It turns out, as the cruise went on, they both gravitated towards the edge, and to the point that I pretty much lost my daughter to the
Wow.
edge
Is that right? Yeah.
the entire time. Yeah, and she had a blast.
When I was a kid, I would have hated that.
Me too. But she loved. They had so many events. She painted an animation cell. They had trivia contests. They, it turns out they actually they were part of the pirate party. They did a dance on the stage during the party and stuff. And so she did a lot of stuff, and she loved being in there. And it didn't close till like
Yeah, it's open
midnight
pretty
or
late.
1, and so
Yeah.
like she got back after us.
She comes rolling in. Hey,
Pretty much.
man, I'm beat.
So
That's awesome. Now, and like, did they make friends in there? Like,
yeah. Well, and so okay.
Oh, plus like you had other family on the cruise, I think, and stuff. Right?
Well, we did. So my son had a lot of his classmates and his
okay.
cousins.
Oh, that helps.
But Megan didn't have anybody like that.
Huh.
But she made friends in the Edge because the kids there were from New Orleans as well, and they went. They went to neighboring high schools. They go to neighboring high schools or whatever.
You people are so insular that even when you take a vacation, an international vacation, you're still in your little bubble.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whatever. All right. You be you.
I know.
All right. So, all right, the Tweens Club. So, thumbs up from them on that.
Yeah, they loved
Yeah.
it.
They don't let me into that. I tried to hang out in there.
They shouldn't. And that's good.
No,
they
sir. All right. Cool. All right, but not so much on the teen one, huh?
No. She went up. They had apparently like a swap where the teens from Vibe went to the Edge and
Okay.
like used that club, and then they went to the Vibe just to be up there. And
Right.
the cool thing, I wanted to be in the Vibe because they had I think a Donkey Kong machine
Yeah, I'm
and
looking at your pictures.
what was it?
Yeah.
And
a Pac-Man.
Pac-Man and Galaga.
Yeah.
So-
Ms. Pac-Man, if you're
Ms.
gonna be
Pac-Man
completely
would be
accurate.
better, and
Yeah.
Galaga. So I would have been just standing there.
Wait a
entire
minute. Wait,
time.
hold on. Is Ms. Pac-Man better than Pac-Man?
Oh, by factors.
Really? Why?
Well, of course.
What's better about it?
Well,
I thought it was just the same thing, but she has a bow.
no. Oh God, no. They have the cutscenes. They have the different the fruit, and the pretzels, and they have it's way better.
Huh. Okay, I did not. All these years, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, I saw your picture from this. It's people can't see it, but it's weird. It almost looks like a backstage. It doesn't look like a I don't know, something weird about the theming with it, or like it's not themed. It looks like I don't know how the rest of the club looks, but
Yeah, it kind of it's that warehouse vibe kind of thing. Vibe.
yeah, get it.
Hey, so. All right, so by that time it was time for the safety drill. So we did that.
Oh my god, I mean, I know. Safety, it's important. Blah blah blah.
It takes about 15-20 minutes, no matter what you do. So
It's not even the drill. It's just like that. It's that obligation in front of you, right? It's just like I can't really like let it all go until this drill is done,
right.
Because I don't know how it worked out for your timing because you the kids clubs to go to or whatever. But for us, we're always just like sitting in the stateroom going, okay. It's almost like New Year's Eve. We're just like I can't do anything until it's actual midnight, and then you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, we pretty much like hit the kids clubs and then ran back to the to the
you did
room
it right.
to watch or listen to the announcement, like what do we do, and then it was like, okay, let's go do it. So it wasn't like that for us.
Okay, it's a little better now. You don't have to wear the vest,
Right, but we
right?
did get them out and we put them on because they do recommend that
Nice,
just to make
nice.
sure. So
Nice, very cool.
so then it's a sail away party, sail a wave party.
No, no. You can't do that.
I agree, but that's what they did.
No. Okay, that's new.
So, so we were scheduled to leave at 5, and we left we actually undocked at like 10 to 5, which I'm like, like, shouldn't we be on time? Like, what are you doing? Which will come into play a little bit later, for other, I'll explain later, but,
Okay.
so anyway, so we left and we passed by the French Quarter and headed on down the Mississippi River.
Which is from your photos, it's a little bizarre to me to see because, like,
Yeah.
I had nothing against your river. It's not like the clearest, like it's not
it's
Caribbean water.
disgusting. Right.
So it's weird for me
absolutely
to see
disgusting.
like the railing of the ship, where it's normally all my photos from 15 years now are just like Atlantic Caribbean water behind, and I'm looking at one here. It's like a bridge and some muddy water.
That's right.
It's like somebody took a wrong turn somewhere.
That's right.
All right. All right, so off you go. So, did you say you did the sail away party, or did you avoid
Yes.
that?
Oh no, we did sail away
'Cause
party.
it's a little hokey, right?
It
It's a little-
is, and it only lasts 20 minutes or something. But
Yeah.
but yeah, so we did that, and then we just walked around the ship.
Yeah.
Used the veranda a little bit. Because it was cool because you're going down the Mississippi River, so the
Yeah,
banks
so you're
are
seeing
right
stuff.
there.
Yeah, that is kind of cool. Where it's not just water out there. You're
Yeah,
seeing like stuff
yeah.
go by. That's cool.
So that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
Visited
that's
my
good.
old friend Deck 4.
I saw in your photos. Yeah, that's
I have
because
many
that's
photos of Deck 4.
that's basically where all the lounging is, right? It's the
Yep.
it's the jogging
Fly-
track. Did you
It
do
is.
the jogging track?
I did not jog, but I did walk around the jogging
Okay,
track.
very good. But it is it's one of the best parts of the ship, right? Because you got
Yes.
it's like you're kind of eye level with the water, and you get the
Yeah.
lounge chairs, and it's usually a little bit quieter out there. And
those lounge chairs, I don't know what kind they are.
They're like drugs. Get
They are the
injected into you when you-
greatest
They
things
look
ever.
they don't look that comfortable, but
They
man, when you're in them,
don't.
you're like, I am not getting up.
And getting older, it's tougher to get up. So, they throw that in there too.
Well, there is that. Yeah.
So then
All
our first dinner rotation was at Animator's Palette.
All right, so let me ask you about
Yeah, go
dinner
ahead.
rotation because I have feels about dinner rotation.
Yeah.
What's now? Granted, it was a 4-night,
Mhm.
so just by the sake of there being fewer dinners, that there's less opportunity or concerns about eating and stuff. Do you like the rotation? Because other cruise ship, this was like a novelty when Disney came out with this, right? This where there's different restaurants and you kind of go on this rotation through and different nights you're at different restaurants, right? Do you what are your feelings about that whole setup? Like your dinner, and did you have early seating or late seating?
Late seating.
Late,
8:50.
so 8:15. Oof.
Yes. Yes. Wolf is right.
Well, and I mean, if it were just Melissa and me, that wasn't that big of a deal. But then once we had little kids, like there was on one cruise, I think we got late seating just because we booked late and there was no way to change it. But that's late. So, but what are your thoughts about how they do dinner on these ships?
It was fine. It was fine. I didn't have an issue with it.
Huh. Okay. Because one thing, maybe we're just persnickety about our dining, and we just don't like to be told what to do, generally speaking. So, like, we've been on Royal Caribbean. Now, granted, the 2 Royal Caribbean cruises we've been on have been on basically their largest ship that they have, right? So, there are a lot more dinner options, but they had much more flexible. There was a main dinner thing, but there were other eateries you could go to if you just wanted to. Just grab a quick bite somewhere. You didn't have to do like the main seating, sitting with other people stuff. So I'm hoping on the bigger Disney ships when those come out, they'll have more options like that. But it didn't seem to bother you, so we'll move on.
It was fine because they had entertainment and we enjoyed it as a family. I mean, we saw because Animator's Palette, as the dinner progresses, the art changes on the wall, and it becomes colored at the end during dessert, and which I've eaten there, I guess, 3 times already, and every time you walk in and it's black and white, right? It's white walls with black ink on it, and I always expect it to progress and become color magically, like throughout the dinner, but it's not. It's really only at the dessert point that everything really comes to life and changes color.
Huh. That's not my recollection from the fantasy version. It's been too many years since. Well, this isn't the original Animator's palette though, right? This is
no, this is it.
Oh, this is original. It has the holes in the wall and all that.
No. We went to Dry Dock. It's the same location, but they've updated it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. I still have a feeling. I don't know. I have to go through photos and stuff. I thought it did change like through dinner and stuff, but it's kind of a show. They can change up.
Yeah.
Like I noticed looking at your pictures, like Mickey was at this. Mickey was never at any of the Animator's palette ones we went to. So
yeah. So that's the thing. So during dessert, all the art comes to life and it changes color, and then Mickey comes out and he dances around, he walks around all over.
No. I don't approve. No.
So
no, I'm almost certain. I have to ask Melissa. She has better memory than I do, but I'm almost certain. No, it did change, and they had like little what am I trying to say? Little skits, if you will, little animated shorts that would play on the screens throughout dinner, like little mini shows. Did they have that?
They were just drawing, like they would draw, and you would Megan and Global would have a game, and they would try to guess how quick,
Oh gosh, no! Like ours, at the Living Seas, that Turtle Time. It's almost like that. Like they have, actually, I think it is like that. I think it is actually interactive.
You're right, it is, but not on the Wonder.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I'm sorry to digress, but I'm just curious.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So that is a different show. Same name, but kind of a very different presentation. So
well, and that's the reason I'm bringing that up is because I always go into Animator's Palette with higher expectations.
It's so funny. I do too.
I always leave like, okay, I guess.
It looks so much better on the box. Like when they describe it, it's like
absolutely. And I don't even know what I had for dinner that night, but it was okay. And the constant theme throughout all of this is that, I'm sure I'm somewhat of a food snob or whatever, but the food to us just wasn't spectacular. It's not, people rave about the food. They like, and not that everything we had was bad. I mean, everything was okay, but it was okay. It wasn't like, even you could go to Disney World and get a much better meal than you would get on the Disney cruise.
Yeah. Well, not just Disney cruise. I think on most cruise ships. I think it's just a factor of having having thousands of meals.
Right.
All
2,700 meals. Yeah.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah. But no, I mean, yeah, I've noticed the same thing, and I think it's because, remember, I mean, lots of different kinds of backgrounds of people go on cruise ships, and I think a lot of people, I think what they really like about most people, most Americans anyway, probably aren't going to nice restaurants most of the time. Maybe they're going to a chain restaurant, or we got a lot of fast food places here, right? So I think. What am I saying? I think the glow of going out and doing something in a somewhat nicer restaurant than people are used to kind of gives a halo effect to the food, and people think, plus they get, dessert and things that, it's the multiple courses and things. I think it's just like, it feels higher, but I'd agree with you. The food itself, based on taste, is like, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. Totally agree.
Okay. So then, I should have mentioned before we went and did that, before we went to dinner, we went to see the Golden Mickeys, which was my first stage show. Even though I've been on 2 other cruises, we've never gone to any of the stage shows.
I don't think I've ever seen that show. They've been running that, I think, since day one. And I don't think I've ever watched it.
Actually, our second cruise.
Did you just know actually me?
I did, because our second cruise was the first cruise that they showed it on. The very first cruise.
Okay. All right.
Because they put they were like promoting it. They put stuff everywhere, and they were saying like they were the crew members were very excited because it was like, oh,
wow.
we have a new show tonight, you know.
Wow. Okay. But they've been running that. I mean, they have lots of other shows that cycle through, but I guess it's popular or what? Like, is it? I mean, that year you're talking about is like 2004.
2004.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a while ago, Glenn.
I know. Trust me. I know. Have you seen it?
Maybe once, like one of our very first trips, I think. Maybe.
Okay. Well, they clearly update it because when we took our second cruise, Michael Eisner was still CEO. So
wow.
So during the show, they introduce. They say, "Oh, we need help with the with the host of the show. So here's our CEO, Bob Iger." And
they're gonna have to.
And I thought,
that.
I'm like, wait a second, this is the very first Golden Mickey's where he's not CEO. Because the trip before,
did you stand up and say, "Well, actually,"
I did. I nudged Tammy and I said, "He's not CEO anymore."
Oh, they're gonna have to fix that.
Exactly. So I got a chuckle out of that. So
they didn't do like a quick voiceover. And now here's our former CEO, right. Bob Iger.
Bob Chapek.
Right then. Well, I assume he was on video, so
at least the first name's the same.
Yeah, and here's Bob.
Right, here's Bob. So,
all right, so Golden.
Anyway,
so wait, but this was before dinner, right? You went to this.
That was before dinner because you do the opposite.
They do before, right?
Yeah. So it was packed. Which I didn't expect either. I figured we'd just show up and be like, "Oh, we can pick ours," and we had to like fight for seats. And so, so anyway, it was okay. It was good, I guess. I mean,
in the Walt Disney Theater.
In the Walt Disney Theater, yes.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So
yeah, we kind of stopped going to the shows.
Yeah, well, and I'll cover it for the other nights. Okay. So that was the first night, first night.
That is a whirlwind day, right? I mean, by the time
and I'll zip through the other days a little bit quicker than this.
You're fine. I got plenty of tape. You're good.
Okay, good. So the second day was a day at sea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we were on the ship, stuck on the ship the whole time. And
wait a minute, we were stuck on the ship the whole time. That's not how people normally phrase that. But
no, I know.
Okay.
So we went to so every day we went to breakfast at Cabanas, and
nice.
that was like my favorite thing. Was
of course,
breakfast at Cabanas because they have just a spread of breakfast food. Oh my god!
No, did we say before Cabanas is that's like the casual eating, this where they do all the buffets and things, right? So that's a fun place because it's like you just like, I think I'll take all this food, and go eat it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we so we did that, and then we just hung around the ship. Obviously, I walked around.
This is February. Like all the trips I've taken are usually in warmer months, so there's lots of pool time and stuff. What I was curious with this time of year, how was I mean, I see from your photos that kids were doing the slides and stuff, so it was swimmable.
It was swimmable. It was a little chilly. We felt the Quiet Cove pool. It was a little too chilly.
Okay.
But so the day we left, it was in the 50s, maybe. I mean, like,
what's that in Celsius?
I don't know. So it was like in low 50. Like we wore jeans and sweaters. Like we were like, oh man, this is gonna be awful. By the second day, in fact, our waiter the night before, the first night, he was like, oh, don't worry, it's gonna warm up. Because we were oh my god, it's south. So cold.
Yeah, you're going south.
Yeah, right. And so the second day is like, oh, okay, this is nice. Yeah. So so it warmed up, and we had pleasant weather the entire time.
Okay, nice.
So we just walked around the ship and did stuff. We went to did some trivia at the French Quarter Lounge.
The French Quarter Lounge. All right.
So I will say, okay, so I'll break in here and say that my fear going on this cruise was that they were going to, knowing Disney, that they were going to throw up New Orleans all over the ship and have Princess and the Frog everywhere. That was my fear, was that it would just be everywhere.
Right.
Amazingly enough, that did not happen.
That's cool.
They had like one. So in the gift shop, they had one small area of New Orleans shirts and pins and ornaments, and hurricane glasses.
Okay.
But that was it. And Tiana is on the ship as a regular. One of the restaurants, and we'll get to it because we go there the second night. It's actually called Tiana's, right? It's her restaurant. If you've seen the movie The Princess and the Frog,
which is just what's on the ship. I'm sorry, which is just what's on the ship. They didn't do this specifically for these cruises. That's exactly the theming of the restaurant, right? Okay.
Right. So on deck 3, I think it's deck 3. Tiana's is the restaurant aft, and then right in front of that is the French Quarter Lounge. So that little area is themed, to the French Quarter, New Orleans, just on a general basis. But so they didn't really do anything else, because I've seen, and you've been on it for Halloween, Christmas and stuff.
Never again.
Well, yeah. So that's what I was expecting, was like Mardi Gras beads everywhere,
right.
And they didn't, and I was so happy because I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna have all that stuff in my pictures, and I don't want any of that. We just ended Mardi Gras. Like, I don't want to see.
Well, I was going to ask you, and I know you guys love your culture and your home and all that.
Yeah.
But like, even looking at the pictures, which you're going to talk about, but Tiana's and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you as a local, is that like, do you appreciate that, or is it more like, does it seem too kind of fake, and you're like, I've got this real thing back home, I'd rather have something else? Like what's your feeling about that?
It was fine. I mean, we all knew it was based on it's based on that cartoon, and it was fine. It didn't offend any of us.
Yeah, okay. I don't mean offended, but just
not offended.
Like,
but
you can't. You're on vacation and you're not. Like when I try, I like to, I'm leaving home because I want to go see other stuff of some kind or another. So like, does it feel like, I guess what I'm asking is, did it feel like you brought too much of home with you with that? But it doesn't sound like it.
No, not at all.
Right.
I will say that the band, at Tiana's, when they played, they played New Orleans music, but it's clear that they play that on every cruise. But it was nice because we, it was like, oh, we know, like, if you went on the cruise, it would probably be some music that you have never heard before, because it's some Mardi Gras music. It's, they do some, New Orleans centric music. Mm-hmm. And so it would be unique for you to hear it. But for us, we were actually singing along, and, and so it was kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
so it was a day at sea.
Now,
how did that feel on the bigger ships? When I went on the smaller ships, I used to love days at sea because you get maximum ship time, right? Like normally when it docks, everything closes and you have to get off the ship, and or you stay on and you can enjoy that, but there's not much open. How did it feel on the Wonder for this, like a day at sea? Did it feel like, oh my God, there's so many people, or what did you like? Because you had never done a day at sea before, right?
We had not done a day at sea before. That's correct. The first day at sea, because there are two. The first day at sea, it was fine. Like I didn't notice all the people. I did spend some time on deck 4 where people don't tend to go normally, and
right.
I mean, I don't know if I did a good job of avoiding everybody or what, but yeah, it was comfortable. It was fine. I can't say that about the second day at sea.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well,
it was the complete opposite. And I'm like, where did all these people come from?
Wow.
So I don't know what happened that first day. If people were really, my guess is that people were really focused on doing the activities in the lounges and everything else, so that they were, in places.
Well, they're probably in the kids club because it was the first full day with that and stuff. So,
Right.
Okay.
But that second day at sea, oh my God, everybody was just out on. I mean, deck 9 was just like you couldn't even get through. It was so crowded.
Deck 9s were like the pool and all that. The Lido deck, as they say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was fine. That first day at sea, it was fine. The stores were open, which was cool because on my previous cruises, we always dock somewhere, and the stores would only open at night, and so you'd have the time. And so it was nice just being able to walk through and go through the stores, and it was fine. That first day at sea was nice.
Cool. And dinner at Tiana's, looks like.
And dinner at Tiana's.
What restaurant was this before they changed it?
So we asked because we couldn't remember.
Yeah.
And we asked our waiter, and it was Parrot Key.
Oh, that was okay.
Yeah. So it was
That's
like
actually,
a buffet.
I thought that was deck 2. No, I guess it is deck 3.
Yeah.
Deck 3. You're right. I know what you mean. Okay. Yeah, that one was like
Yeah. So they changed it over to this just last year. Actually, he was explaining that it went to dry dock last year, and they changed it over. So, So during dinner, they have a band. Tiana's band gets up there, and they play music during the first couple courses, and then before dessert, they have a little parade, and so Tiana comes out, and Louis the alligator, he runs around, and the kids, and they wanted everybody to join in the parade. I'm like, I'm good. so it was cute, whatever. And the band was good. They played decent music, and the food they tried to make it a little bit New Orleans, but
okay, we'll just skip over that part. I'm sure you have.
So, but it was okay. So then that was pretty much it for the second day.
It looks like you went to a movie.
Oh my God, I forgot. Yes. So on the ship, they have the Buena Vista Theater, and they show first run movies. And so
that's where we first saw Nemo. But
us too.
Yeah.
And so we went the first day at sea, they showed The Rise of Skywalker in 3D. Now, when I saw it in December in the theater, I didn't see it in 3D.
Disappointing you in even more dimensions.
I did see Force Awakens in 3D, and I want to say we saw Last Jedi in 3D. I think.
You can say it. Nobody will know.
And and so anyway, but it started at 10:30 at night, and I'm like, oh my God. So it was after dinner, so we went up there.
And your kids are what? See, my kids are still young. I don't get this kind of freedom that you get. So they were off at the tween club.
Oh, they were, yeah. So she got back, and this is the night that she got back after us, and we got back. It was like after 1 or something in the morning.
That's so funny. Hey, Mom and Dad.
those seats are not comfortable in there.
Oh no, that's funny. I remember that too, but that was many dry docks ago, so I didn't know
after after a 2.5 hour movie. Like if it was just a normal, like you know, like Frozen 2 or something, if we had gone and seen that, okay. But ooh,
wow, they should put the Deck 4 lounge chairs in there.
Oh my God, that would be the greatest thing ever. So it was the only time they were showing in 3D.
Yeah, but still, you got to see a Star Wars movie on a Disney show.
Right,
that's cool.
Right. So we went, and it was cool. It was I enjoyed it just as much as the first time I watched it. So
okay, well that's not saying much. All right. So that was your first day at sea. Is that right?
It was first day at sea. Yeah.
Okay.
This episode is sponsored by ParkLeap. Do you hate waiting in lines for your favorite rides at Disney World, Universal, and Disneyland? Of course you do. Everyone does. ParkLeap tracks current wait times for attractions in real time, analyzes them, and gives you immediate guidance on what to ride now and what to skip for a shorter wait later on. ParkLeap saves you time so you can do more, see more, and ride more. Many theme parks provide their own apps, which is great, but they only report the times. You only get information, you don't get guidance. Is that 40-minute wait good or bad? ParkLeap can tell you. ParkLeap also includes an interface that is clean, quick, and easy to use. Many vacationers travel to multiple theme parks. Now one app does it all. Whether you're a local resident and annual pass holder, or travel great lengths once a year or every few years, you want to make the most of your time and money. This is the app to get to help you do that. Get Parkleap in the Apple App Store. And thank you to Parkleap for sponsoring Starport 75. So then our second full day was our port day. We went to Cozumel.
Uh-huh.
So we did not have any excursions planned.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you should have done the pyramids or something.
Why are you? So that I would, yes, I would love to do that, but I didn't realize that it would be like
it's an all-day adventure.
Full day adventure.
Oh my God, yeah.
And so we didn't. And so we dock in the morning
at Punta Langosta.
Yes. And, my sister and her husband were on the ship, and they did have, they had like a dolphin encounter or something. I don't know. They had something planned.
That doesn't surprise me, knowing your sister.
And, we saw them at breakfast, and guess what?
Uh-huh. What?
All excursions were canceled.
Why? What happened?
It was too windy.
Too windy?
Too windy.
That's ridiculous.
So everything was canceled. So they got a refund. So we just got off the ship, and they did too. And they have a little mall or, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, it's a
shopping area.
One of those port things, yeah.
And they have like a Senor Frogs and a Starbucks and stuff.
Yeah, I ate at that Senor Frogs one time.
Oh, cool. We didn't. So we got off, and we took a quick walk around, and then we got right back on the ship.
Oh, really? Well, from your pictures, it looks like you were there for hours.
Oh, no. We were off the ship maybe 45 minutes at the most.
Oh, seriously? Wow.
Oh,
that's a long walk to just stay out there that short. But
it was fine. We can say we stepped foot in Mexico.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Had you never been to Mexico?
No.
Are you kidding? Really?
No. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to get back in. What are you talking about?
There's no wall in the ocean.
What?
Wow. There's no wall in the ocean.
Wait, there's another way in?
All right.
So
can I tell you my Punta Langosta story real quick though?
Sure, because I certainly don't have one.
No, I have one. We've been to this port so many times. Like every cruise, and not on purpose. Just it seems like every cruise we end up taking, just the way the itineraries work, we like the Western Caribbean better than the Eastern Caribbean itineraries, and it always stops at Cozumel. So like the sign of the Cozumel, with the word that everybody's like. I know this place far too well. But and maybe this is only funny to me and my family because I'll never live it down. But before we had kids, we my wife and I, there's like a nature park not too far from there. You take like a taxi and it's like a 20-minute ride or whatever. And so my wife and I went out there and we went snorkeling for the day and stuff. And like, being a smart traveler that I am, I only took as much money as I needed to, for the day, right? So I took a cab, and somehow I did not do the math right. And no, I take it back. I assumed the place, because you have to pay to get into the nature park. I assumed they would take credit cards because just like,
Yeah, it's
credit cards.
2020, yeah.
Well, back then it wasn't. It was like 2008 or something. But
well.
But even so, you're like, okay, it's not. It's not. It's
right.
Like it's highly traveled. You would think they took credit cards.
Yeah.
So they didn't take credit cards, but I didn't think at the times. So I paid cash for the taxi to get there, and I paid cash for the entrance fee to get there, and then we get in a cab to go back to the port, and I realized, Glenn, I don't have any more cash. Like I left it all on the ship. So I don't know if you've ever been in a situation like that, but I'm like, holy hell, I'm in Mexico. I have no money on me, and this cab driver is not going to be very happy when I tell him, hey, like I don't have any money. So he had to like drive me all the way around. We're looking for an ATM, and for whatever reason, it just wasn't an ATM I could just go use and get cash. He had to take me to like his cousin's convenience store, and basically I had to buy 3 Cokes for $50 or something, and I got the change back. I don't know. It was this whole ordeal. So it looked like for a little bit there we might not have made it back to the ship. But anyway, it's one of those fun things that my wife never lets me forget, so I thought I'd share it. But that's what I always think of when I see Punta Langosta. Do you know what that means, by the way?
I do not. What does it mean?
It's a lobster port. Port lobster point. Lobster Point. There you go. A little trivia.
Cool.
Anyway, so you got off and you just walked around, and You got back on.
Got back on.
Were your kids cool with that too? They're like,
oh
okay,
yeah.
no.
They're like, Daddy, where are we? What are we
Yeah,
doing?
and especially because all those little shopping things in ports and stuff, they suck. They're all,
Yeah.
they're worse than like outlet malls. They're
Oh
terrible.
my God, it's not even. Yeah.
Yeah, the water's pretty.
I'm like, do you want to buy a little sombrero to put in your room or something? They're like, no, we don't want any of that. Like, just let's get back on the ship.
That's right.
I'm like,
This is their first time being out of the country as well, right? So
Yes,
that's kind of a big deal.
yes.
Okay, well, at least you got off the ship and kind of did that. It's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Turn right around.
But the nice thing is, we did it early enough that the ship was ours.
Yeah,
Right?
well, that's what I was going to say. Is that usually, especially because we've been fortunate enough to do this a few times, we don't even get off the ship anymore. We just stay on and enjoy the fact that most of the rest of the ship is gone.
Well, that's pretty much what I wanted to do, but Tammy was like, "Oh no, I want to get off. I can't wait to."
Well,
get
you
off."
still
I was like,
have to. I mean, you can't be there and not set foot at least.
I could.
Well, you could, but you're.
I know.
you're
So
you.
I did what my wife wanted me to do.
Well, happy wife, happy life.
That's right.
Hi, Tam. Cool.
Exactly. So that was nice. So that day was nice. We went to the spa. Deck
So your kids are off
4.
they're off clubbing, and you guys went to the rainforest.
Pretty much, yes. Yeah.
Nice.
So we went to Cove Cafe.
Yeah. By the way, this is a bone I have to pick with you.
Why?
And
What?
You when I go,
Uh-huh.
I have about 800 pictures of the Cove Cafe because that
You
is
do?
literally one of my favorite places in the whole world, regardless of which ship it's on.
Right.
And you have like 2 pictures here.
Yep.
Like, what's up? That's
Because
like,
you took them all, and I knew that, and I
But
said,
not
"Well,
on
I'm
this
not
ship.
going to." He would definitely have something to compare to, and I don't want that to happen. So
No, I need to live vicariously. And plus, I haven't seen this since they redid it. This is not the original Cove. So I'm curious what it looked like. But you edited too much. Oh,
no,
yeah,
I
look
didn't even take my camera with me. These are all
These are
pictures
phone?
from my phone.
Yeah, I could tell they look much nicer than the.
Yes,
the
exactly.
other ones.
Don't
All
even.
right.
Don't.
Are you
even.
in this photo? Are you actually drinking a coffee? What are you
Yes, I
drinking?
got. They had a some kind of I don't know coffee with there's some
With
kind
sugar?
of coconut flavor. Yeah, a lot of sugar and coconut. And
Coffee flavored sugar.
it was basically like a pina colada coffee or something. I don't know. And so I got it and I tasted it. And it wasn't sweet enough, so I put some more Splenda in
Oh, you're
it, some
so-
Splenda in it,
So,
and
so disgusting.
it was yummy after that.
Oh, so disgusting. Anyway,
So-
but I'm looking at the styling in these photos. I'm not sure I approve of the new Cove. What is this? It almost looks like a South Florida tropical vibe to it.
I don't know. This was the first time I had ever been in there, so I don't know what it was before.
You didn't go out like in the
Nope.
Really?
No.
Oh my God, this is where we used to live. We'd spend hours. In
I know, and I told Tammy that. I said, "Oh, this is where Chris normally
yeah, but it
comes."
didn't. It looked well. I don't like the looks of it.
Yes,
Anyway,
I don't know.
all right, and it looks like on somebody's latte they did a little Marvel character
Yeah,
design.
Black Panther.
Cute. Okay.
Yes,
So you were there for 10 minutes and then you left.
pretty much.
Did a
And
bunch
then
of photos of your Tervis.
that's right.
Okay.
And then it was pirate night, and our pirate night was for dinner was at Tiana's again. So, but everybody on pirate night, everybody in every restaurant has the same menu. So,
Right. And bandanas.
And bandanas. That's right. I even wore my bandana.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at that right now. That's something.
So then it was time for the pirate party, and I did not know. Megan wanted to surprise us that she was going to be dancing on the stage.
Oh really? Oh, cool.
And so because of that, I did not know she was going to be dancing on the stage because she did not tell us. And so I was setting up for fireworks photos.
Oh no!
So I missed it.
Dad, did you like my number?
That's exactly what it was. And
No
I'm like,
way.
what? And she's like, well, yeah, you didn't see me? I'm like, she's like, I thought you'd be taking
Oh,
pictures
no.
of the.
Was
I'm
she
like,
disappointed?
you're kidding. Yo, she's very disappointed.
Oh, of course.
Luckily,
Well, yeah,
Glenn Paul knew, and he was up near the stage, and he actually took video of it. So,
oh, that's good. That's
so at least we got to see it.
good. Yeah. Okay, that's good.
She was not. She's still not happy with me.
Well, but it's not your fault. You didn't
No,
know.
I did not know. So I went up to
Because as far as that's not. I need to talk to her. That's not fair. Because I mean, as far as you knew, it's just whatever people dancing. Like you're not going to take pictures of that.
well, right. We had seen every other show there. I'm like, okay, good. We get to see Mickey again. Like, oh, So anyway,
now is this just real quick because I'm curious the differences in the ships. So the last time I was on the Fantasy, which was a year and a half, something like that. This was like a big ordeal. Like they have like rigging set up where like these pirates drop down from the top, and like the stage, like an actual set and things. Is it that elaborate on the Wonder or less so?
No, less so. So they don't have on the stage. They don't have any kind of set. And Mickey and I think Jack Sparrow, they go from one funnel to the other basically, and that's it. And yeah, so it's definitely not as elaborate because I've seen videos.
Yeah.
We just watched one from the Fantasy or something. And I'm like, oh wow, they have a set. They have like it's
almost as elaborate as the actual theater stage show thing.
Yeah, like it's definitely
produced. Yeah. Okay. Huh. Okay. And then you did fireworks shots. Nice.
Tried. Yeah. I had set up on the other side because our waiter said, okay, they're going to shoot them off port side. Towards the rear and go back. And I'm like, okay, so I went starboard, the opposite. And so I went because I wanted to get the funnel with the fireworks in the background, right?
I see.
And so I set up and, I'm waiting there. And so one of the cast members, crew members, whatever they're called. He was nice enough. He was watching me the whole time, and he's the guy that opens the door to let the characters go down to the stage and everything.
Okay.
And so he actually walked over. He told his partner, "Hey, I got to go talk to this guy." He's like, "Sir, are you trying to take pictures of the fireworks?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You're not going to get them from here." And I said, "Wait, what?" I said, "But I want to." And he's like, "No. I stand here every night. I don't see any of the fireworks." I'm like, oh. He's like, you got to go to the other side.
Oh, that's
They're going to shoot them, but they're going to shoot them from the rear, but they shoot them towards the center of the ship. And I'm like, oh, because I thought they were going to go back, right?
Yeah.
For safety reasons and everything else. And so I hustled over to the other side and found a spot where there weren't many people, and I still tried to get the funnel. And I had and this goes into what our post show conversation is going to be, but I'll tell you now. So I had my wide angle lens on the camera, and I could kind of get the funnel. I had the funnel, but I didn't know where the fireworks exactly were really going to go off, right? And I'm like, oh my God. And so literally like maybe a minute before the fireworks actually started, because I didn't know when they were going to start either.
Right.
I'm like, let me put my fisheye on just to make sure that I have enough room. And thank God I did, because if I had left the wide angle on, I would not have gotten the fireworks.
Yeah. Huh. Okay.
So these are all with my fisheye lens. And I know I could have done better. I just didn't know where, and I would have stood somewhere differently. And but
it's hard because
I haven't taken fireworks photos in literally probably a decade.
Right.
So
I was because it's only the one night, so it's not like at Disney where there's like fireworks every night, so you can see it one night and then for the next time it's like you get one shot at it that
Yep.
You may not know. So no, they're nice.
So I didn't get the burst, because I was still fumbling. Okay, how many seconds? And
it's fine.
And I was using the remote shutter, and so it's like, oh man, fireworks shots are not my thing. But I wanted to at least try. So
well, and you got them. Better than the blank sky you would have had if the cast member didn't.
That's right. And I wanted to go back.
You've been hearing all these like kaboom, kaboom, and you're like, what is going on?
Right. I wanted to go back and thank him, but he was gone by the time I got back.
That's too bad.
It's like, man.
So you mentioned the Golden Mickeys and the cruise that you were on was the first time. So a little bit of trivia. My only minor claim to fame was we were on the very first cruise that they ever did fireworks.
Oh, really?
During the cruise, not just Disney Cruise Line, but any cruise ship. From what they told us anyway. And they didn't actually shoot them off from the ship. They had a barge that they towed behind the ship that they shot them off from. So because it was the same thing. It was after Mexico, so I guess they linked it up in Cozumel, and this barge followed along behind, and they shot them from that. And that was the first time. And then I guess they perfected it and later got them moved onto the ship and whatever.
Yeah, because the other two cruises, we did not have any kind of fireworks or anything like that. We didn't even have Pirate Night.
Yeah, well, and that's it was kind of linked up with Pirate Night. That's when they because it was always after leaving Cozumel, for whatever reason, Cozumel's pirate port for them. So
Well, Pirates of the Caribbean, the movie came out in 2003, which was the year of our first. In fact, we saw it in the Buena Vista Theater on the ship, which was cool. It was like, oh wow.
Oh, okay.
So they didn't have any of that pirate stuff integrated yet because they didn't know it was going to be that big of a hit.
Right. Yeah, it was like 2005 or 7.
Yeah,
I think
that makes sense. So this was this was my first time seeing fireworks from the ship. So I was like, wow, that was cool.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. All right. So that was that. Did you guys I don't see any photo. Did you guys ever do like any of the nightlife for the adults, like the music areas, any of that kind of stuff?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Did not.
No. All right. Very cool. Kids are out partying and you guys are sleeping.
That's right. So then our next day was day at sea, and we're heading back to New Orleans. And so that was once again just going around the ship. Took a ton of pictures. That was my picture day. But we did do some other stuff. We did a couple trivia contests. We went to see in the what's it called, the Crown and Fin or something, one of the British pub that they have on the ship.
Oh, okay.
They had
since I was there, but
yeah. They had the guy who plays Olaf in the Frozen stage show in the Walt Disney Theater. He's been on Broadway, and so he was giving a talk about his journey. Right? How did he get to Broadway? You know,
Michael Buchanan.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
So he was in the Book of Mormon on Broadway. He was in I don't know, a couple other shows too. So that was interesting, especially since my daughter wants to.
Yep.
You know, she would love to be on Broadway someday. Like, it's a shame she didn't get to. It was adults only.
No.
So it's a shame she didn't get to hear his journey and how how tough it is, and
yep.
but it was a really interesting talk. So that was cool. Went to and the captain of the ship.
Yes.
Is Captain Henry, who was our captain for the first 2 cruises we took.
No way. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
We used to have Captain Tom a lot, but I understand he's been promoted to, like, he's admiral now, of like he's like head over the whole thing or something.
Yeah.
Captain Tom.
So that was cool.
So he's been
Captain
sailing
Henry
that
again.
ship for 15 plus years.
Yeah, at least.
Wow. That's incredible. All right.
Yeah. So, as I said earlier, this day at sea seemed a lot more crowded on the ship. People were everywhere.
This is the last day?
This is our last full day, yes.
So the next morning you docked and they kicked you off.
They were kicking us off the next day.
Yeah, okay.
So one thing that was nice was that they had a trivia contest for in the Edge where my daughter was. It was parents versus kids. And
that's cool. Yeah.
So we went, and the parents won. So it was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, but it was. So we won though. And
is it like just Disney trivia or just general trivia? What's
it was Disney trivia, and then they had trivia about the ship, like very specific trivia about the ship, like how many cabins are there, how many people are there on a ship, how many crew members are there.
Okay.
All that good stuff. How long is it? What landmark is the same length or height of it, and all that good stuff. So luckily I'm a Disney nerd, and I knew enough to beat the kids.
Nice. Okay.
So then that night before dinner, while the show was going on. Oh, by the way, the second night was the Frozen stage show. I did not go to that. My son and I did not.
Shocking.
My daughter and Tammy went, and they enjoyed it. They said it was a great show.
Uh-huh.
I've heard that about the Frozen show, that it's the best stage show on any ship.
Wow. Okay.
But I did not go to it. And then the third night they had a magician. Tammy and Megan went to that. I did not go to that either. And then,
what were you doing while they were at these shows?
I was taking pictures. I was walking around taking pictures.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
And then the last night, there was the Disney Dream show.
Oh, yeah. I saw that one. Yeah,
and
it was terrible.
Tammy went to it, started to go to it, and I was like, I'm not going. And then Megan wanted to be in the club, and Glenn Paul didn't want to go.
Yeah.
So she went by herself, and I was starting to walk around, and I went by the adult, the Cove pool, and it was completely empty. And I said, oh, I'm going swimming. I'm getting in the hot tub.
Nice.
And so I went to the room, and I texted her. I said, I don't know if you can get out of there or not, but I'm going to the hot tub. And so she left, and she joined me. And so it was just her and I in one of the hot tubs, and then this other couple were in the other one, and nobody else around.
Nice.
So that was super nice. And then so
and that's what Melissa and I used to do. We used to pride ourselves on being the anti-cruisers. So wherever the herd was going, we always went in the opposite direction.
Right.
And so we were able to snag some time like that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So then the last dinner was at Triton's, which is the
main one, right?
The one right off the main lobby. Yeah.
Right.
It was just like the other nights. It was okay. It was good.
Are one of those nights lobster night, or is that only on the seven nights?
Yeah, we didn't have.
That's always a big deal to people on the 7 nights is lobster night, and it's always like this overly cooked dried out lobster. But I sound snobby if I say that, but you would appreciate me saying that. So, cool. All right. So was it just like general, whatever, meat and potatoes, whatever?
Yeah, I mean, I had a steak and potatoes, I think, and it was okay. I mean, it was all right. So, but that was it. That was the last night. It was the last time the stores were going to be open, so we went in there real quick to do last minute shopping. Just took a few more pictures around the ship. So around 11 or 11:30 p.m. I headed out to take pictures of hopefully a deserted ship. And I did okay. I did run into groups of people here and there. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Go to sleep, guys.
Yeah, you can't. That's not that late. Oh my gosh, people are out on this thing until like 2, especially like last night. People want to get their time in, so they stay out late. Yeah.
So I was out until about 12:30 or so taking pictures. Yeah.
And I can see from your shots that like seems like you finally had the time to kind of get in the groove and do, quote, photography.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So, like some of my favorites are from that time, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, and then that was it. We, I was out late taking pictures, and then I wanted to watch us sail into New Orleans and dock in New Orleans. So I set my alarm for like 5:15.
Wow.
And I was checking Google Maps to see where we were. Mm-hmm. Because in the Mississippi River, we hit cell towers, right?
Oh,
so,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So I actually had cell service like the night before. So I was checking, and so I woke up at 5:15, saw where we were. I'm like, oh, I got to get up. So I threw some clothes on, went up to deck 10, 9, 10, and saw us come in, and got a couple cool shots. Got a couple cool shots of the sunrise. I videoed us. Docking takes a lot longer than I thought it was going to.
That's a whole thing.
But I videoed the whole thing of us docking. I was hoping Captain Henry would come out and give me a wave, but he didn't. But amazingly enough, like I was the only guy up there. Like nobody else was around. I figured there'd be
early in the morning. No, most people were up until 2 a.m. making partying,
getting in my photos and stuff. So anyway, so that was so that was a Monday, by the way. It was our last day. We did the express walk off, so we did not put our luggage out the night before.
We always do that too.
We just
oh wait, no, I take that back. We don't do that.
Yeah. So we just got off at 7:30. They let those people off first, and there was a huge line because I think everybody had the same idea. Because many people from New Orleans, and they had people picking them up and all that good stuff.
Hang on, you had limited luggage enough that you could just carry it off? Yeah,
one per person, and then I had 2.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, the last few times we went, we had younger kids, so we even had like diapers and things like that. So
well, and the kids took their own, so
yeah, I guess that helps. That is nice though. Then you don't have to.
Oh my God,
wait for
awesome.
That. Yeah.
So Tammy's dad was there to pick us up right when we got off, and so we got off so early that the kids were able to get to school.
No way.
Yeah, way. Yep.
You were terrible.
Yeah,
that's horrible.
And Tammy and I took the day off and went to.
Oh, okay. Now I understand.
Went to lunch at Shake Shack and.
Yeah, you guys totally got to go to school.
That's right.
That's so. Nice. Did they complain at all?
They were not happy. They were really not happy.
I mean, couldn't they have missed one day? Seriously?
No. Well, for my daughter, it would have caught because it comes on the heels of if you miss a day after a holiday week, then it counts for 2 days absence.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why. So anyway, so she only missed one class, and so she was there. She was tardy.
Well, that's I give her a lot of credit. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So that was it. That was our cruise.
Very nice.
Yeah. So that's it.
All right. So general feel. I want to ask you how much you spent, but they're not cheap.
Yeah.
So, but dollar value, especially compared to like you've done, weeks at Disney World and stuff. So, I mean, do you feel like you got your money's worth out of it, or like how do you feel?
Yeah. The kids had such a good time that I actually asked them as we got off. I said, "So would you rather?" And it's probably one of the best time to ask it. But
as soon as they were getting off the
ship. If we were going to do this or go to Disney World, what would you rather do? And they absolutely said the cruise. And I'm like, oh, okay.
See, my kid would have just said, well, both. Like he does. He's not good at choosing.
Right. Well, and they know that because they're like, well, we're going back to Disney World at some point. Like, if you're asking, then, we know that's a done deal. So we'll say the cruise.
Right. Yeah. Smart.
But, all right. So yeah, it was good. We had a good time. All right. So here's my complaint. And I talked to Tammy about it, that day after we got off. The reason we took the trip is to have a family vacation, right?
Sure.
And you haven't experienced this yet because your kids aren't that old, but we didn't really see the kids that much. They were off. My son was off with, his cousins were there. His classmates were there. So he was off with them the whole time. And then Megan, like I said, we lost her to the edge. So it was just Tammy and I. And it was like, well, this isn't fun. It's not, it was okay. And it was only 4 days. I couldn't really, I have some stress at work and I had that in my head. And so I couldn't really take a day to really relax. I felt like, I'd get the navigator and look at it, and there's so many activities going on. It's like, oh my God, I need to be doing something because, I did pay a lot for this and I don't want to miss anything. And so it wasn't like the other two cruises we took when we didn't have kids and it was just Tammy and I, and we did go simply to relax. So it was a different, my expectations were different than what reality was. Not that it was right or wrong. It was just, I was hoping we would spend quality time together and have, experiences together and everything else. We literally saw Megan at dinner and that was it. And then right after dinner, she'd go right back to the club.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because I think the idea, and you're right, we're not quite into that realm yet. We're actually at the other end of that spectrum. We're waiting for our youngest to get old enough to be in the kids club so that we can have, more separate time. But I think the intended pattern is that it's the kind of trip where you can have both, right? So you have the kids clubs where the kids can go off, they can do their thing, parents get a little alone time, But then part of the reason that that their explanation for doing the dinners the way they do and the shows the way they do is that's when the family's supposed to get back together, and so it's sort of supposed to be like a separate come together kind of thing. But I wonder if like on a 4-day like that, if there's just not enough time, like you're saying, to kind of hit that that kind of not schedule but pattern, if you will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think what you're describing, you would definitely get more out of that on a 7-day.
Right. Well,
So-
and so the other thing is that added to compounded that was we did not do any excursions, right? So
Right.
that would have forced us to be together.
Forced you.
But but the
awesome.
one rule that we've already put down is that if we ever do a Disney cruise again, we absolutely have to do one that has a stop in Castaway Cay, because that
Oh
is
my
the
God, yeah.
one thing
Yeah.
that we completely missed.
I didn't think about that in your run,
Yep.
but yeah, you're right. That is,
Yep.
yeah, totally agree with you there.
Yeah, that I missed not going there. That was a downer, not going there. I'll be honest.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, but like, where would that have even fit? I guess one of the days at sea instead. It would have been Castaway, right?
yeah, and it's further away. I mean, you really can't do.
Not from you can't do it from New Orleans.
yeah.
But
Well, you can. No, they do. But there's the 7-night cruise. They cruise out there.
they can make it all the way over there and back
Mhm.
in 7 days. Wow, they must haul.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Well, then there you go.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they had 7-night from New Orleans.
Oh yeah, they
I
all
thought
actually
just
they
4
all
and 3.
were except for the 4-night we went on. There was another 4-night right after that. And then there's a 5-night right before ours, but the rest of them, the other 4
Yeah.
cruises out of there, were 7 nights. And then when it left, there was they're doing the 14-day through the Panama
the
Canal
repositioning,
yeah.
Yeah. Do you know one time we actually got lucky enough to get a 2 Castaway Key trip?
That's crazy.
I don't.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the people dubbed it the double dip cruise, but I don't know what. I guess maybe they were just testing, and this was before they had the 2 newer ships, so they only had the other 2, so they could juggle it. But that was nice because then because the only problem with Castaway was always on the very last day, so
Yeah.
you wait for it, but I don't know, just it always seems so rushed. Like, okay, you did that, then dinner, and then you're off. It's like it would have been better if it was more in the middle.
Right.
So it was nice because it was like the second day was at Castaway, and then the very last day was at Castaway. That was a fun trip.
That's cool.
But yeah, I agree with you. That's one of the biggest. But you know what? In your rundown, I didn't miss it. I mean, that's I didn't even realize it till you said it. So
Yeah, well, I missed it.
wow, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, and I totally resonated with me what you said about looking at the navigator and feeling like, oh, I should be doing all this stuff. And again, on a 7-day, you have more time to do that, so
Yeah.
it kind of lessens that pressure a little bit. But for me,
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm happy to just kind of be on the ship and just be on the ship. So
Yeah, and the saying you can never go home again, right?
Yeah,
Or when you go home and you're older, like you go in the bathroom and you can like feel like the walls are closer for whatever reason.
this house used to seem bigger.
Well, that's the thing, because on the ship it's like the ship's not that big, like
No. Well, you need to go on the bigger ships.
compared to the first couple times we went. It was like, oh my God, this is such a big ship. But this time it was like, oh, like we don't have any place to go. We don't have anything to do.
Which actually surprised me because it's not like
I
you've been
know.
on the bigger ship and then
I
back to the smaller
know.
one. So that's
That's
interesting.
what I'm saying. It was a weird. It was probably just me. You can discount it for that, but it
Well, and
was just
plus you had a lot of years to kind of like set memories to your own.
true.
So you just kind of remember it. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
But I mean, would you do this exact same thing again? Not meaning you have to do all the things the same, but the same 4-night from New Orleans for the same amount of money. Would if it you said it's going to be there next year, right? So would you consider this next year?
not if it goes to only goes to Cozumel.
Okay. Well, there's only so many places it can go in a 4-night.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you didn't even see Cozumel. You didn't even do anything.
No, I don't want to. I don't
Okay.
care about it.
So you only went Castaway Key.
I didn't lose it. Yes, I only went Castaway. I would, and that's what I told the I would. Okay, even if it doesn't go to Castaway Key, I would look for a 5-night if I could, or a 7-night that has multiple ports, and I would not get off.
Oh yeah,
that's what I would do.
But you need to have pool weather for that. I think at least that's what because that was the nice part was we just like camp out by the pool and splash pad area for the younger one. But okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll see. We'll see when it gets closer next year. Well, I'm sad we weren't able to go on this one, but if you ever do a 7-night, you let us know. We might have to save up for that. But,
yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, gosh, I feel like we're leaving on a down note, but
no, it's
all right. I mean, from the pictures, looks like you guys had an amazing time. But you got to support it, Glenn. If you don't, then they're going to not go to New Orleans anymore.
I know. Well, one of the rumors is that when the 2 new ships come on board, that one will be here more permanently.
Well, I'd say that's a very big chance, especially with them theming the restaurant that way. That seems very likely. Yeah, I could see that. Plus, it hits the other ports they go to a lot, and they can still use Castaway Key, so that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Yeah, well, good for you. Well, I guess you don't have to support it. You can go out there and look at it a lot.
So, okay, so that's, I mentioned that we left about 10 minutes to 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went back, so just so everybody knows, I went the first sail away night out of New Orleans in early February. I went out to get photos of the ship leaving New Orleans, going down the Mississippi River with the French Quarter in the background. And they did not leave until they were scheduled to leave at 5 p.m. They didn't leave until 6.
That blows my mind because
I found out
in Florida they leave at they say 5 o'clock. They're out at 5 o'clock. Like it's clockwork.
It's Disney, right?
Well, I think it's just cruise lines, but yeah,
I agree. So come to find out, because we were talking to our waiter, and he said, "Yeah, we had a lot of problems the first trip because the crew members got off and went through New Orleans. The traffic was so bad getting back."
No. Are you
that
kidding?
They weren't. Yeah, it was the cast members.
So you guys were
crew
screwed.
Members
No, you were screwed. You were screwed by your own city.
I know. So every stop after that, they gave them limits that they couldn't go past certain streets,
that's
so that
funny.
they had enough time to get back.
Is your traffic that bad there?
Well, yeah, downtown. Yeah, it can get bad. Okay. Especially around 5 o'clock. I mean, that's the CBD.
Yeah.
I mean, people trying to get out of there and.
Yeah.
Okay, so that lends to my next story. But so anyway, so I went out and I got some pictures, but I wanted to get better pictures and different pictures. So the benefit of being on the cruise and seeing where we go and the timing and other vantage points to take photos from. So I had that day after we got off the cruise, the ship that morning, I was going to go back that afternoon to take photos of it leaving, right, for the next cruise.
Uh-huh.
So I get down there, and I knew where I wanted to go, and I was there at 4:45, and thinking that them leaving early was a fluke when we left. So I'm driving, I'm in the car, I go all the way down there. It takes me like half an hour to get down there.
Uh-huh.
And I'm about to pull into the parking lot to go into the mall where I can go to the food court that's overlooks the port and everything. And I see the Wonder like sailing down. I'm like, you son of a gun. So it left.
Why wouldn't you assume that? Why would you assume it wouldn't leave on time?
Well, no, it left at no, it had already undocked, turned around, and was heading down the Mississippi River at 4:45.
Oh, it left early.
Like even earlier than when we were on it.
Oh, gosh, I've never seen it leave before.
Right?
Whatever. Okay.
Right? Yeah. That's why. So I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So I missed it then, and so I
guess
had
if
one more
everybody's
shot.
on board, you're like, oh, all right, let's go.
Well, yeah, if you're on board, but I wasn't on board.
No, I'm saying like depending when they leave. Like if you already have any, like I don't know.
Oh yeah, because everybody's there, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So
You don't have to, what I'm saying is you don't have to wait because like everybody's here. Let's just
right,
go.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So then I had one more shot Friday, and I had to go pick up my daughter from school, and I tried to do that early, and I drop her off at home, and I'm heading back down, and it's about 10 after 4. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to get there early. But it's a Friday afternoon, right? So I put it in Waze, okay, let me see if there's a quicker route or whatever. The quickest route would get me there at 4:45. So
Okay.
35 minutes. I'm like, I'm not even trying it because I just know. And so I turned around, I came home. I didn't even, I actually did send an email to our friend Sean Spansel to let him know I was heading down there. In case if he wasn't working, if he could join me or whatever, but he was working. But I had it all planned and didn't even get out there. So I did not get any more shots of the ship.
Is it gone? Is it done with New Orleans? No.
Oh yeah. It's on its 14-day over to San Diego.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was there all of what, like a month?
A month, just about a month. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Same for next year. So
yeah. I always thought I would like one of those like really long ones, like those like 14-day or whatever. But then I was talking to somebody. It wasn't Disney. It was Royal Caribbean or whatever. But they said we did that Panama crossing once, and it gets kind of boring. And it's like, especially that because it's like there's not that many interesting places it stops. It's just sort of like So I'm like,
whatever's along the way.
Do you know some people? And we know this because we would like we would end up seeing like the same, because we used to go once a year for like 5 or 6 years. It was just kind of our annual trip.
Yeah.
And we would see like the same people. Like we're like, they were on that other cruise with, like, it was just weird to see like, and then we found out there are people, especially because, they're crazy Disney people, that they'll do like back-to-back cruises. Like, they'll just stay on 2 weeks at a time and like, finish the first 7 day and then do the next one. Some are like on, I don't know where they get this kind of money, but they're on there for like months at a time. Like, anyway, it's kind of crazy. There's a lot of like super regulars that stay on their ships.
I have seen stories of people. It's usually like, it's like an old woman or something, but she had money.
Yeah. Oh,
and she pretty much lived on the ship.
Yeah, she added up. She's like, well, if I added up all my expenses for food and laundry and et cetera, it's cheaper to live on the cruise ship. Now, it wasn't Disney's cruise ship, but cheaper to live on the cruise ship than to live on land. So, yeah. And it was still super expensive. I think it was like $200,000 a year or something. But for she was fairly well off. But yeah, crazy. Well, all right. Well, it sounds like you had a good time. It wasn't quite the trip you're expecting, I guess, but it sounds like
we had a great time. Even with all that, I mean, it was a great time.
Yeah. Cool. Well, and the cycle I also see is like there's always sort of this period, but then give it like another month or two, and then suddenly it's only the good memories that remain. Right. And you'd be like, man, I kind of miss that cruise, and when can we go on another? So yeah. But back to my important question. So merch, would you buy? Did you guys saw in your photos they had some, like you said, some New Orleans specific stuff? Did you?
Yeah, got the kids each a shirt, New Orleans shirt. They had 2 different styles, so we got both styles. Got an ornament.
Nice.
And then I actually got you a pin.
Did you? Yeah. Oh, nice.
Which was sold out by the end of the cruise.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm not too surprised.
And
this coffee mug that you had the picture of, make sure you pack that really well when you send it to me.
I did not get that.
The Disney Wonder.
Yeah, that was cool though. I wanted to, but I'm like, no. We have enough mugs, and I know that's a sentence that never needs to be uttered. Ever, but
no, it's just get more cabinets.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Tammy actually said, she's like, Glenn, I'm kind of afraid the shelf is going to fall.
I think
like I said, no. I just reinforced it. It's fine. We can have more.
Why does this sound like a Simpsons episode to me?
It kind of was.
Oh,
because we did get one, but it was it was kind of the sister coffee mug to my Tervis mug. It was kind of the same design, and Tammy liked that. So, but yeah, we didn't really go too overboard with overboard with the merchandise.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
Oh, I know it is. I know. I mean, we were in there looking over and over and over. In fact, it was kind of sad. The people who worked there, they knew us by sight.
Everybody,
like, hey, how you doing again? And I'm like,
everybody does that.
Yeah,
I'm happy to see they had a lot of Wonder themed stuff because it seemed like the last couple of cruises we've taken, they kind of did like the Disney parks do, where it's just like Disney parks. You know, it's just like they had a lot of DCL stuff, but not like specific individual ship merchandise. So maybe they're bringing that back. But.
Yeah, right by the New Orleans stuff. That's where they had the Wonder specific stuff.
Yeah.
So they had like a shirt, and they had those coffee mugs, and they had a few different little things. But the rest of the stuff was just kind of generic Disney Cruise Line, and I didn't care about any of that.
Yeah. Well, I'll just throw it out there. I know it's a ton of money, but I will say based on what you said, I think you gotta somehow do a 7-day someday.
Yeah, I know.
I think that is the trip that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So.
Now we did, and we did comment while we're on it. It's like, it would have been nice if the Grays were here.
Not many people say that. Not many people say that.
But because it would have given us different things to do,
sure.
So even though we knew a ton of people on the ship, we really didn't hang out with them too much. So
no, it would have. You would have been frustrated if we would have on, because our little one. Not to go too in depth, but he's like too old to go to the nursery, but too young, or just based on his needs, to go in the kids club. So like he would have had nowhere to go or do. So
I know.
And in summertime, we'd let him do like the splash pad and do all that stuff. But I was worried it was going to be a little too cold to do that a lot. So it was like, well, what is this little guy going to do for 4 days? So we. In the past, we went on one cruise where our son ended up getting an ear infection, which we didn't realize until after we got off the cruise. But he was a basket case the whole time, and I just felt like I had set a match to thousands of dollars. So didn't want to repeat that with a kid that was unhappy because he had nothing fun to do. So anyway, so that was the main reason. But next year or next time, I think we won't have that problem. So
cool.
Well, cool. Well, I'm glad you went. I was shocked. Because I asked you before you went, so where will I follow your adventure? Are you going to be posting on Instagram or whatever? And you're like, nope, not doing anything till I get back. And I said to myself, literally out loud, I said, bull, it's a family show. Can't say it. And I would have bet a ton of money that I was going to see some sort of post from you mid-cruise, but nope, never did. So I was shocked. Especially since I knew you were going to be close to, land, like you were saying, going down the Mississippi and stuff. I thought, and in Cozumel, there's, cell towers and stuff. So I thought for sure I was going to see something. But nope.
Yeah, I was so paranoid to turn it on though in Cozumel and all. So we all just kept it off.
Wow, it's like old times.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, wish we could have gone, but thanks for the trip report.
Yeah.
Sorry, it went a long time. So, cool. I guess we'll get back to our regular shows now that you're back, right? Okay, we can go back to complaining about. There's lots of news we can talk about.
Oh, there's a lot of news we can talk about.
New CEO,
we'll pick it up next week.
Yeah, all right.
New CEO. Some kind of health thing or something. I don't know.
Nah, no big deal. All right. Well, I want to talk to you about camera stuff. So I guess we'll end the show proper here.
Yes.
But we'll talk about camera stuff in a few minutes.
Sounds good.
All right. See you there.
All right. Bye. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Starport 75. Follow Chris on Twitter and Instagram at CBGray, and Glenn on Twitter and Instagram at DizWiz. Follow the show on Twitter and Facebook at Starport 75, and Instagram at thestarport75. For all things related to the show, including show notes and links to connect with us, visit us at starport75.com. All right. So what camera questions you have?
And not a lot, but I mean, so like I assume you took your mirrorless interchangeable lens camera.
I
your
did.
Nikon, right?
I did.
Did you take any tripods or your platypus?
I
any of that kind of
did.
stuff? Yeah.
No. Tripod. And
why did you buy that platypus? You were telling me how amazing that thing is, and now you never use it.
No, it's fine. I took it. I took it, but I didn't use it. I didn't end up using it. No.
All right.
Yeah, so I took my full-size tripod and I took my GorillaPod.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Which did you end up using more?
Oh, the tripod.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I used the GorillaPod a couple times. In fact, both times I wrapped it around the veranda railing.
Yeah, that's a thrill, right? A lot of adrenaline with that.
Yeah, and I put my phone in it. To do time lapse of the sunset.
Yeah. Okay, nice. Yeah, you had a couple of nice pictures. I can't wait to see some video.
Yeah. So I did, and then on the main tripod, I had the Nikon Z6 on it, doing video of the sunset. So, nice. And I also did from that camera and that same setup. I would turn on for, and you gave me the idea of this because you've mentioned it a few times, that you either have done this or would like to do it or whatever. Pretty much just take B-roll, if you will, of just
ambient,
stuff. the ship, right? Just the view out for a few minutes. I would change the angle up a little bit. Thinking I can blend it in. I did the sunset. So I did, us, and that's part of the reason I wanted to get up and watch us dock in New Orleans as we passed the French Quarter. I got that on video. So I'd like to put it all together into like just something, put a little music or something behind it, have the sound of the water kind of going underneath it as well. It's something we can just put on on a loop, right?
Yeah, I want to do that, and I want to make a screensaver from it as well. So, yeah, cool, nice.
So did that. So that's the only thing I use a GorillaPod for. So I did use the tripod, obviously, for the fireworks shots, and then the shots that I took of the sunset from deck 9 or 10. On the first day at sea, I think it was. I used it for that, and then I used it the last night as I was running around the ship, taking pictures of everything. Right. I was using the tripod because I was shooting bracketed.
For some HDR stuff?
Yeah, so... it doesn't look like it, but I have run pretty much every one of those photos through Aurora HDR.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because it's very subtle HDR.
It is. I don't want to say I noticed it being HDR, but I did take notice of the dynamic range of, like, I don't know how to describe
the lights.
Yeah, it's like the picture of the pool by Signals, and so I could see there's definitely some depth there. So.
Yeah, cool. And it just to add to it, just to give it a little, so I really, really, I don't know if you've ever used it or
no, you've mentioned before. I don't think I've used, maybe one time I used it. Yeah, not too often.
So they have a plug-in for Lightroom, or it's a standalone app. Right. And it's very easy to export out to it from Lightroom. And then when you're done, it imports it back in, the final picture back in. Where I adjusted a little bit more to tone it down a little bit because I don't love the HDR look, but I like what HDR brings to the table.
Yep. So some real subtle, like, increased dynamic range.
Yeah.
Right? So the sky's not blown out, and you get the details and the shadows and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I was using the tripod that whole time for that reason, so that I could get just steady shots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the rest were handheld. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I really love the Nikon Z6. I mean,
yeah.
It's a great camera. I like everything. The only lens I did not use was my 70 to 200.
Did you bring it?
I did bring it. Yep.
Wow.
I did bring it because I wanted to make sure I had everything,
Yeah,
but I
why not?
didn't really find a need to use it. But
Yeah, especially, I mean, what would you use it for? Right.
Yeah. But so the second day at sea, I said, oh, let me, put my 50 millimeter 1.8 on the camera and just take shots with it and not, and try to do some different stuff. So, I was shooting through some railings and
I noticed those. I noticed there was like a series of more creative ones, if you will.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. So,
yeah.
Otherwise, I pretty much had the wide angle lens on it, the 14 to 30. It was on it pretty much the entire time. Other than that, use a fisheye, like I said, for the
the 14 to 30, not the was it 24-70?
You know what? I really didn't use it. I used it just a little bit, like the first day.
Okay.
But I really didn't use it. I thought I would use it more, but as I was taking the shots, the wide angle lens was the one. I mean, you know me. That's the one I'm most comfortable with. So
sure.
I know. But So the 24 to 24-70 pretty much stayed in the bag, except for a couple times, and then the 70-200 stayed in the bag. But so that's
okay, cool. And so because you're either a moron or a brave hero, you updated the firmware of your camera just an hour before leaving, right?
Yeah, man.
So I still haven't actually done that update, but and this is really down in the weeds. But so this was an update to the Nikon Z6, and it was supposed to drastically improve autofocus. What's your review on that?
So, old habits die hard. So,
well, especially with some people. Yes,
I did. Okay, so I did have it on, and it is light years better than you need to upgrade. It's light years better than what it was, and I need to practice with it. But I need to get the muscle memory. I need to practice so I can get the muscle memory down, because you need to. It's really helpful if you're back button focusing.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not. I did that
Some
for
people
a while.
swear by that. I've never really gone through a phase. Some people swear by that. I feel like I'm missing out on something, so maybe I need to do the same.
Yeah. But there were times where I was trying to get, I don't know, one of the kids or something, and it was focusing on the other one, and it's like, no, stop. And so I switched it back to just my manual focusing by the joystick.
Yeah, but I see.
Yeah.
But even so, when that happens, doesn't it do the little arrows so you can because it's picking out the eyes, right? You can just swap between eyes, right?
Yeah, you can.
Okay,
but I didn't have that quick enough. It just,
I get it.
I wasn't ready for it.
Okay.
So.
I didn't know if you were saying you didn't realize you could do that, but it has that little arrow that you can
Yep. And I tried it before we left at the house. With Tammy.
I don't know if I say I wouldn't, because I like to think I'm more whatever thoughtful than I am, but I probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
It
didn't hurt anything. It didn't change anything, but
sure.
it
all worked out well.
Yeah. It is in my limited tests. It is a gazillion times better than the previous version.
Yeah, I saw Jared Polin has like a 45-minute video about it, which I
saw that tonight, and I'm like, oh my God, I need to watch it.
Yeah. Okay. Huh. Cool. All right. Well, I think that was all I had. It wasn't in depth about it. I was just curious. What your thoughts were on it. So, I did. Naturally, I do. I like all the family shots and everything too, but I really appreciate the ones where you had the time and took the effort to go out and do photography with a capital P, as you will. So they came out nice. Look great.
The only other thing that ticked me off was that was the positioning of the ships in Cozumel. Because
come on, man.
the Wonder had the outside,
Yeah.
and so I couldn't get a clear shot of it at all.
No.
Um,
Well, then you just have to go in another one.
from any angle, and so that's why
You didn't call up your friend Henry? Say, hey, Henry,
mean,
can you move this thing around a little bit?
I think because we got there second, like we got the stinkier dock location, but there's some, I don't know, whatever kind of cruise it was, Royal Caribbean or something.
Looks like Norwegian.
Norwegian.
No, you're right. It's Royal Caribbean.
Well, I don't know, whatever, but
It's
and we wake up and open the
yeah. Let's
the
look
thing,
at
and it's like,
Cozumel.
yeah, and it's like, we're looking at somebody looking back at us. It's like, oh, come on.
Well, I guess I should get dressed.
Well, right. It's whoops.
Got more than you bargained for in that cruise.
So yeah, we couldn't see Mexico from there, and then we couldn't get shots of the ship. I'm like, you are kidding me.
You didn't miss anything.
No, I know, but
No,
the shots of the ship, that's what I mean.
No, and nothing against Mexico. Cozumel's very, especially right at the port. It's just very, they all are right at the ports. They're very touristy.
No matter where it was the same in Nassau.
No, that's even worse. But,
Yeah.
At least last time I was there. Very cool. Well, thanks for letting me take the journey with you. Maybe next time can really do it for reals. So awesome.
Yeah. So I'll post the pictures somewhere.
For the people.
So our listeners can take a look and laugh at them or whatever.
No, they're good. I like them. I applaud you because and I hate to say because it sounds like I'm being elitist, but I'm not. But I mean, because it's 4 days, but it's really I don't know. It's not. That's not a lot of time. Like the first day is all taken up with all the excitement of getting on and everything, and then last day is like get the last minute stuff to get off. So it's not a ton of time. And for stuff like that, I always stress because I'm like, where am I going to find time to actually do some picture taking and stuff? So
yeah.
I applaud your efforts.
The first night, I'm like, okay, I gotta pace myself because I have time. I don't want to rush and take the pictures tonight.
Sure.
There's no sense.
Don't want to use up all my film on day one.
Right. Let everybody, because everybody's gonna be all over the ship because they're discovering and all. I'll chill out. So I didn't do anything that night, and then the next night it was like, okay, well, I'll try to get the sunset, and then, but it's like, okay, well, there's still a lot of people around. Then the next night is like the pirate night, and then, so yeah, every night went by, I'm like, oh crap, when am I gonna take these pictures? So literally the last night, I'm like, oh, I gotta go do it now. So
yeah, you did good. Yeah, actually, the last couple cruises I went on, because I used to do that when it was before we had kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, good night, honey. And I would go out like the latest I could go out, to try and get the fewest people possible on. But gosh, the last couple of times we went with our kids. And so, they don't have babysitters. So we'd be staying with them. And I'd be asleep by like 10 o'clock or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get a lot of time to go do that. So
yeah.
So cool. Is there any shot you intended to get or thought about after that you're like, oh, next time I should do whatever? Or
really, the ones I missed were the ones of the ship from the port. Those are the ones that I.
Well, where's your ones of because it's always good to get them on Castaway because it parks right by the thing when like walking off. Where are those?
So one shot I am proud of. Is there's a couple that I'm completely ignoring.
Okay.
One is when we're coming into New Orleans, I have a shot of the funnel.
Looking at it right now.
And it says the Disney Wonder, and then in the distance is the Mississippi River Bridge that we crossed to go to grandmother's house and everything else. And I had to say that my sister noticed it too. She's like, "What time did you wake up to get as 4 o'clock?" I said, "No, 5:15." And she's like, at least she appreciated that. Right. She realized the effort it took to get that shot.
Right.
And then there's a couple sunrise photos in New Orleans, and then the sunset photos because I tried to frame it, with. Right. With the ship in it, with like the best framing I could find really was the slide, the kid slide, because it made a little thing, and then right in the middle you see the sunrise or sunset.
I was just looking at that. Very nice.
So, so I tried.
Did good.
Yeah.
Did you bring a computer with you? Did you see any of these while you were there, or just wait?
I
till you
did
got back
not bring. So that was my other thing is I did not bring a computer.
Mm-hmm.
So everything was on the cards, and like I didn't back anything up, and so the whole cruise, I'm like, oh my god, please, just let me get off this thing and get home. So and the first thing I'm going to do is and that's the first thing I did when I got home was transfer all the photos to the computer.
Yeah. See, if you shot Sony, they have dual storage cards in them. You wouldn't have that stress.
So yeah, I did not see any of these. I was just looking through the viewfinder.
Yeah, right,
so
right.
that was another risk. But I just didn't want to lug the computer with me.
So according to this album, you shared. Is there a number here? I thought it showed me a number. It looks like a couple hundred. I don't know how many.
Yeah.
How many did you end up taking? Did you fill up your cards? What did you do?
I think it was 260 or 263, something like that.
Okay.
And I took.
I was just curious. Not important to get an accurate.
No, it's
number.
very important.
I was just curious, roughly, if you
very
took a ton
important.
more than this.
Because I mean
that's
that's
all of them?
I do that. I look at the percentage of.
Yeah.
All right, so I took 1,700.
Well, okay.
1,703.
That's a lot. Okay. And I'm not asking for ratio, but I'm asking mainly because I'm curious how much photography you were able to get in on the trip. That's kind of what I was curious about. So.
Well, and I did take, like I took pictures of the TV in the room because they have my name on
right,
it.
all that stuff,
just stuff like that. I took pictures of the food that I didn't post, and you know, so it's.
Okay. Well, good.
Yeah.
All right. I still haven't gone through my pictures from our night at Disney. Can you believe that?
I did do that, but I haven't finished the Rolex 24 pictures yet.
Yeah, that takes forever. I still haven't finished last year's Rolex 24.
Yeah, if you have a picture of one car going around the turn, you pretty much have pictures of all of them.
Yeah, it's
like,
weird.
They all look pretty much the same,
yeah,
and it's like, don't I have like 18 others of this exact same car going?
Well, I got some cool shots of that one Lamborghini that had the cool comic book
really
game on it. Yeah, I got some nice ones of that one.
Did you on the track?
No.
Oh. What?
No. That was a little inside racing joke right there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thanks. What's you got any other photography coming up? You got any plans?
Oh my god, no, nothing. I did go to New York a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's right.
I have some shots from Manhattan and Times Square and Empire State Building and all that good stuff. So
awesome.
But no more photography in the near future for anything planned. At least let me say that.
Me either. All right. Well, cool. Well, this is a long episode. Hopefully nobody minds. So, but thanks for chatting with me.
Yeah.
All right. See you next time.
Okay.
Bye.